You are listening to The Human Cullen, a Twilight story, by Dark Divine Stories. Please enjoy. Chapter 1. I sat in the passenger seat of my brother's car. Alice sat in the middle, Rosalie, Emmett and Jasper were sitting in the back. Edward was driving the car. "Today should be interesting," said Alice. "Why?" I asked, looking at her. "Isabella Swan will be coming today," said Alice. "So what?" said Rosalie. "Rin, it's not nice to stare," said Edward, "so don't stare at her, okay?" "Okay," I said. That wasn't something I had a problem with. "I don't see what's so special about her," said Rosalie. "It's because she's new," said Emmett. Edward pulled into a parking place. "She's the same as everyone else," said Jasper. "Except one thing," I said. Edward rolled his eyes. "What?" asked Alice. "The human mind," he said. "Excuse me," I thought. "The male human mind," he corrected. "What?" said Emmett. "All of the boys are imaging themselves in love with her and other things," said Edward. "Oh really?" I said. "Let's get to class." The day went by quickly. I was more than ready for lunch. I sat with my family. We were the only ones who sat at our table. I was bored. My stomach wouldn't stop growling even after I'd done with my food. "Emmett, can I have your sandwich?" I asked. He took a bite, then offered it to me. "Here," he said. "I don't want it now," I said. I felt someone get kicked under the table. "Sorry," Jasper murmured. "You weren't going to do anything, I could see that," said Alice. Jasper pushed his tray towards me. "Thanks," I said. "It helps if you think of them as people," said Alice. The rest of it was like she was talking gibberish. But the others heard what she said like it was a normal conversation. "I know who she is," said Jasper. He turned to look out the windows. Alice got up, taking her tray with her. Edward looked away for a second like his name was called. I finished what Jasper gave me. I grabbed Emmett's soda. He took no notice. My stomach growled again. "For heaven's sake, Ren, you still can't be hungry," said Emmett. "I just had gym," I said. "If you were human you would understand." Edward picked up his bagel and started to eat it. "Suffer then," said Emmett. Rosalie handed me her chips and sandwich. I stuck my tongue out at Emmett. "Jessica Stanley is giving the new Swan girl all the dirty laundry on the Cullen clan," Edward muttered to Emmett. I was sitting close enough to hear him. He must have thought something rather unimaginative, actually, said Edward. "Just the barest hint scandal, not an ounce of horror. I'm a little disappointed, actually." The bell rang. "Shall we?" said Rosalie. "So is this new one afraid of us yet?" asked Emmett. Edward shrugged. I walked to meet Alice in government. Alice was in her own head, so I took notes. It felt weird. I usually copied, but it was easy for me in this class. Esma already taught me this subject and every other subject I had. This is the first real school I ever been to. I was homeschooled up until 2 years ago. My parents were afraid to let me go to school alone. So they agreed that when I got older I could go to school with my siblings. The end of the day came slower than I wanted it to. But the finale bell rang what seemed like hours later. I followed Alice to the car. Edward wasn't there yet. When he got there he was gasping for air. I never seen him act like that. Something was wrong. I knew something wrong. "What happened?" "Edward," Alice asked, alarm in her voice. Edward shook his head. "What the hell happened to you?" Emmett demanded. Edward didn't answer. Instead he put the car in reverse and pulled out of the parking lot. Wow, he was speeding before he got on the road. Something was wrong. I looked at Alice, and I wasn't the only one. Rosalie, Emmett and Jasper looked at her too. "You're leaving," said Alice. I stared at Edward again. I wasn't the only one. "Am I?" he asked her. "Oh," she said. "Stop," Edward gowned. "Sorry," said Alice. "I'll miss you," said Alice, "no matter how short time you're gone." Rosalie and Emmett exchanged an appreciative glance. "We were almost home." "Drop us here," said Alice, "you should tell Carlyle yourself." He nodded. We got out of the car in silence. "You will do the right thing," she muttered. "She's Charlie Swan's only family, it would kill him too." She got out of the car. I jumped on Emmett's back and he ran home with the others. End of chapter. Thank you so much for listening to this chapter, brought to you by Dark Divine Stories. If you liked this chapter, please leave a like. If you thought this chapter was interesting, please leave a comment below. If you want more stories like this, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll be notified when Dark Divine Stories uploads a new story or chapter. Dark Divine Stories will be uploading new chapters, stories and YouTube exclusive content every month. The YouTube exclusive content can't be found anywhere else, so make sure you get notified when it's uploaded to the Dark Divine Stories channel.